All right, so welcome back in to the movie pick. Dave is here again. That's me. And I've also got Tia returning with us. Thank you, Tia.
You're welcome. And really, this is my movie pick.
This is your movie pick. And thank you again to Bradley for covering Ferris Bueller with me. That's always fun. And at the end of this, the goal is that you can say that this gave you two very enthusiastic thumbs up and that it was fine holiday fun. Because we're going to talk about Clueless, and hopefully we don't just talk about this movie sporadically. So,
Love your input there.
yeah. Well, I decided to use a Travis Birkenstock line instead of a Cher line because I figured that Evie would think it was cringy.
As if.
She'll probably cringe at that. So let's go back a little bit. One thing I've enjoyed doing. So this movie came out July 19th, 1995. And this, so we've gone over this every time, but this is an exciting one because this year the Braves won the World Series. They beat the then Cleveland Indians, which are now the Cleveland Guardians. So that was an exciting year for me personally. But I told you we can't sing on this because of copyright stuff. But the number one song when this came out was by TLC. Waterfalls. Don't sing it.
Oh, I was struggling.
So tell me, the first thing I like to talk about with any of these movies is, what is your first memory of Clueless?
Okay, so 1995, I would have been what, like 8?
Mm-hmm.
I would have been 8 years old. So I probably didn't watch it for a couple more years. And like, I remember 5th grade, 6th grade, and me and my best friend at the time, Bailey, wanted to dress in the outfits. We were definitely saying as if.
And whatever.
Whatever. And there was jokes that I did not get at the time that I get now. And just like a lot of movies when you're younger, as an adult, you're like, why did my parents let me watch this? And thankfully, we do have VidAngel, so we have let our child watch Clueless. And when she tells people that she loves Clueless, I always like preface like, we watched it through VidAngel because I don't want to be judged.
Sure. That's the last thing we want to do is be judged by others.
Yes.
And that is, like one thing that I was talking about with a friend the other day. One of the reasons we're doing this show is to talk about movies that the movie itself may have some, comments or parts and stuff like that we don't approve of as either just people or as parents. But we either use VidAngel or, watch the TBS version or something like that. So that way we can watch them. And even this podcast is meant to be a podcast that you can listen to with your family around or not have to worry about hearing stuff you don't want to hear.
This movie I could probably like parent Angel on though, since I know it so well and can quote it.
Yeah, because every movie I watch at least twice before we do this. And when you and I were watching it, you were pretty much quoting the movie word for word.
You're welcome.
That's always fun to hear somebody else do the lines. So one of my first memories of this movie was going to see it in the theaters back when there was what was called a cheap theater, which was, do you remember that at all?
Yes, $2.50.
Yeah, well, then it was like $1.
Okay.
And so every year we would go for Thanksgiving, like with my family, we would go see a movie. And that was how I saw Mrs. Doubtfire the first time. That's how I saw a bunch of movies. Home Alone, like a bunch of those came out around that, Thanksgiving, Christmas time. And I would see them on Thanksgiving Day. And Clueless was one of them that I saw. But it was actually the first one that I was allowed to go to the theater, just me and my cousin. And because the rest of my family went to see Babe, the movie about the talking
Not
pig.
your cup of tea?
Not at that point in life. I had moved on
You're
from
too
Babe.
cool.
I felt like I was too cool. But this movie looked really funny, and just being transparent, it had very attractive females in it.
Yes, it did.
So I was very excited to see the movie, and my cousin was too. He may laugh. He, hears this podcast and say that he wasn't, but he was. But that was my first memory of the movie. And so some of the facts about this movie, it was made for like around 12 to 13 million dollars. So kind of a lower budget movie, but it made about 88 million internationally. And also that doesn't even count like the DVD sales.
They've made plenty off me.
They have. They have. And they also had a spin-off TV show. Did you ever watch the show?
I didn't. I know that they got that girl that looks a lot like Alicia Silverstone. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think Stacey Dash was on the show, wasn't she? And so it was Donald Faison.
Yes. Yeah, he was on it. Donald Faison was on it, which was the guy that played Murray. Stacey Dash was on it. She played Dion. Wallace Shawn, which I think the teacher's name, I'm blanking on that. Mr. Hall.
Oh, the guy from Princess Bride.
Yeah, but I think it was Mr. Hall was his name or something. He was on the show. There was actually quite a few. Amber, I don't know the actress's name, but Amber was on there.
Okay, here's a question I have after watching it again. Speaking of Amber, is her name Amber or Ambular?
I think it's Amber. I only remember hearing Ambular one time
from Cher.
Yes, and so I think it was more of a put down rather than like her name or like a cool nickname. I think it was making fun of her in some way that I probably don't understand because
now I have to look it up.
Yeah. But so the spinoff show shockingly lasted 3 years and 62 episodes. And because I'm a good researcher, I went back and watched the first episode.
Were you impressed?
I didn't make it all the way through.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the girl that took her place, the girl that took Silverstone's place, though, Rachel Blanchard, she did a really, really good impression of Alicia Silverstone. So, like, from watching just that first episode, I would not say, like, she's the reason that it didn't last more than 3 years. And it probably had its audience, and it probably did just fine. But she did a good job, which would have been a really difficult job to replace Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah.
But here's some other things. I don't know if you knew this. There was a series of books.
What?
Yes. There was also 2 comic books or 2 graphic novels.
Well, we're going to McKay's after this.
That came out. Those came out in 2017. There was a musical. And I have not told you this part because I wanted to get your genuine enthusiasm. Right now, they are in talks of making a show, like a Clueless show, with Alicia Silverstone coming back as Cher.
That's the only way I'll watch it.
And that's the way it should have been in the beginning, but and we'll kind of get to that and kind of get to Silverstone in a little bit.
I did see that she did a reel because the anniversary is this year, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the 30th year. Yeah, 30th anniversary.
Yeah,
it was actually just a couple weeks ago.
She did a reel in her jacket with her real life son.
Yeah, I saw that. It was funny. But sticking with this year and talking about, like, I like to talk about what are the like big movies that came out or the movies that were the kind of dominated the box office. This movie was number 25. Which
no, it needs to go higher.
I agree with you, and especially if you saw the list. But the top 5 in ascending order, which means like starting with 5 and going to 1. Ace Ventura 2.
Okay.
Near and dear to my heart. Pocahontas.
Really?
You know, kids. I mean, yeah, family. I mean, like family movies always do really well, even if the movie isn't that good. Which I've never seen. We've talked about this before. I know it's like Evie's sick movie that she likes to watch is Pocahontas, but I've never sat down and watched Pocahontas from beginning to end.
I'm trying really hard not to sing right now.
No. Yeah, you can't. Otherwise, I'll get sued. But Toy Story was number 3.
I'll agree with that.
You can agree or disagree. It's still,
well, I didn't know if this was like an IMDb list.
No. This is like the ones that made the most money. And then Apollo 13 was number 2. And this one was a shocker. Batman Forever was the number 1 movie of 95.
I'm sorry, are we talking about Batman Forever with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No.
Oh.
No, that's Batman and Robin. I'm talking about the one that had Jim Carrey and Val Kilmer and Tommy Lee Jones. But the interesting thing about the top 5 to me is Jim Carrey shows up twice, Batman Forever and Ace Ventura 2. But Tom Hanks shows up twice with Apollo 13 and Toy Story. So just thought that was kind of interesting. And but this is not a pod about those.
No.
This is a pod about Clueless. So this movie was directed by a lady named Amy Heckerling.
What a name.
And you've seen some of her other stuff and just didn't know it because this was me. So she did Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which would definitely need to be vid angeled.
Oh, I actually watched it for the first time like 3 years ago, and I kept watching it going, oh.
Yeah. It's it definitely covers a lot of subjects in that movie that we're not even going to talk about on here. And then she did European Vacation. So she actually did, in my opinion, the worst of all the vacation movies.
Yes.
Unfortunately. I mean, it still had some funny scenes, but it is my least favorite. But she did another movie that I loved when I was a kid, which she did Look Who's Talking 1 and 2.
Oh, I love those.
Yes. So she did those movies. She also did a couple things. Like I think her last theatrical release was one called I Could Never Be Your Woman. With
I don't know that one.
We've seen it. I remember watching it a long time. It's Paul Rudd and Michelle Pfeiffer.
So she definitely likes to do edgy stuff.
Yes. But one thing that was interesting about this movie, so she wasn't happy with the movie premiere, like the way that the movie was shown at the premiere, because it was done at like a MTV beach house thing. And so like a bunch of the actors and actresses showed up because it's like this big red carpet movie premiere, but it was done at the beach and you couldn't hear the movie hardly. So,
so it was a waste.
Yes. And when you're, the director, the writer, the creator, whatever, that's like your baby up there. That's what you've worked really hard on. You've edited, and then people are seeing this movie and not even really able to.
And a lot of those actors aren't known at that time either.
Yeah. No, and that was that was one of the things that was interesting to me about it, though, because I watched, like I said, I really deep dove into Clueless on this one, and I watched one of those True Hollywood stories.
Didn't know they still made those.
It was not a new one made. It was like,
okay.
This came out before Brittany Murphy passed away.
Oh, okay.
This True Hollywood story did. Because I was wondering what they were going to say about her. But let's go through the cast a little bit. So you obviously have Alicia Silverstone as Cher. And she was picked for this. Have you ever seen the Crying Aerosmith music video?
No.
Well, she was picked for this after the director saw that music video.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And she was actually in two of them. She was in another one called Crazy, which had her and Liv Tyler in it. But when the director saw that, that's when she picked Alicia Silverstone for the part. And this is by far her biggest role. Like when you think about her entire career, this was her biggest one. And she actually landed it was like a $10 million deal with Sony after this movie for 3 more movies. And she was only 19 years old after this.
And this was her biggest.
Yes. I just thought that was interesting.
I just realized the other Batman that I was getting ready to make fun of, she was in it, wasn't she?
Yeah, and it was really bad. That's
Alicia.
Like if I ever want to cover like the worst movies that aren't even enjoyable to watch, Batman and Robin would be the first one that I would cover. And I hate saying that because I'm a huge Batman fan, and that movie was really, really hard to watch. But rounding out the cast, Stacey Dash.
Also, Stacey Dash, wasn't she like much older than the rest of the cast?
So we talked about Alan Ruck, which was Cam in Ferris. Like we talked about how he was almost 30. Same thing here. Now,
but looks amazing.
Agreed. And that's what I was going to say.
She still looks like this.
I haven't, her up. Yeah, I haven't seen her, but when you look at Cam in Ferris and they do those zoom ins, like it's night and day when they do the zoom ins on like Dion, because she still, like in this movie, she looked like she was 18 years old.
Yes.
And Cam definitely did. We talked about that before. Cam definitely didn't. So good job by her. Donald Faison.
Were his braces real?
So I wondered about that. I didn't do any research on that because I actually thought like if they
look real.
They do. And if they put those on him for the part, that was kind of an interesting choice. So I think they were legitimately there. But I knew him from this. He was also Remember the Titans. He was one of the wide receivers in Remember the Titans.
It took me a long time to get past Clueless, but I mean now I do think of him as Scrubs.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing about Remember the Titans was that was 5 years later, and he was still playing a high schooler.
Good for him.
Yeah. Well, in Remember the Titans, he started looking the Cam part. And then Brittany Murphy as Ty. I mean, she was really funny in this, and she was one of those. I'm not sure how old she was when she passed away.
She would have been one of the older ones, though, wouldn't she, in the cast as well?
I'm not sure, but she was so good in this.
Yes.
And it was really disappointing because she was good in a lot of other movies. Like I really liked the one with her and Ashton Kutcher. She was really funny in it.
Just married.
Yes.
She was also really good in that one with Dakota Fanning.
Uptown?
Uptown Girl.
Yeah. So she was good. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, she, out of the three main actresses, like her, Dion, and Cher, she probably had the best post Clueless career.
Yeah, she even did like serious movies like Girl Interrupted.
Yeah, yeah. So obviously that was sad, and we missed a lot of good movies from her. But Breckin Meyer was Travis.
Oh yes,
he was so good as Travis that it was hard to see him later on in other movies when he had like short hair and was trying to be serious.
Didn't he try to play doctors and stuff?
I remember him playing a lawyer once on a show with Mark Paul Gosselaar. Like, he was on, it was like a TNT show. I remember he was on that. He was in a movie called Road Trip.
Oh yes.
He was in the one that Jared loves, Rat Race. But he was a little more serious in all those movies. Yes,
this was a free one for him where he didn't have to try hard.
Yes, he was the party guy. And then, I don't know how to say this name, but I love this guy every time he shows up in a movie. Dan Hedaya or Hedaya. I don't know. It's her dad.
Oh, okay. Her grumpy father.
Yes. And like the part where he tells Christian, when Christian comes to take her out on a date, when he tells him,
"Do you drink?"
Yes. And he's like, "No, I'm good." He's like, "I'm not offering." And then he says something about, I've got a gun and two shells, something like that, about getting rid of him. He's like, "I doubt anybody would miss you." I believe him. Like, when that guy says that,
he's a multi-million-dollar lawyer.
Yes. Well, I believe the actor acts it too well. Like, I believe that guy could make somebody disappear. And then obviously the diamond in the rough on this movie, the actor among actors that turned out to be was Paul Rudd.
And this was before he was anything, right?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he was in a movie or two before this, but this was the first time I'd ever seen him.
But it wasn't until Ant-Man that I could think of him as anything except Josh from Clueless.
Well, he really hit his stride in the early 2000s with like Anchorman and all those, Judd Apatow movies and all of those.
Yeah.
And that's where he really hit his stride as far as like
popularity.
Yes. And he was so funny in all of those. That's where he made his career. And I mean, Ant-Man, he's pretty much playing like one of those top characters.
Yeah, but in my heart, he will always be Josh.
Sure. So just off the top of your head, are there any things that you would say, what makes this movie such a big deal? Because it's not, again, the movie came out 30 years ago, almost to the day from where we're at right now. So the movie came out 30 years ago. It's still really popular.
So I think it like died down and then had a resurgence just a couple of years ago. But I know, like, for me, when I was younger, like, it was these teenage girls that you could look up to and they dressed really cute and you wanted to be them. And that's when we started wearing clogs again and socks above the knees with our outfits and wanting to talk like that. And I think with us, am I considered a millennial or a Gen Xer?
Sorry, I've never been good at any of that.
I think I might be a millennial, but that has stuck with us. And we will let Clueless live on in our hearts. And when we show our kids and stuff, like, sure, they get excited. And now it is not hard to go into Target or Amazon and stuff and find Clueless costumes.
Yeah, well, I mean, Evie, our daughter was, I mean, this, but for the listener who doesn't know this, Evie was Cher for Halloween last year.
And shout out to my mother for being Dion. She
did a really good job.
She did. She has really embraced dressing with our children on Halloween throughout the years. And this year she decided to do it with our daughter, and she was Dion and she crushed it.
It was really good. I mean, it's hard competition because she was also Pedro to Jared's Napoleon Dynamite.
She's been the Maleficent to Evie's Mal from Descendants.
So she's done a lot of good ones. And yeah, so high remarks.
But back to your main question, I think it's just lived on through us. We will make it live.
Yeah. And one of the things I have written down goes exactly with, because I was trying to think of, I made like a list of reasons why I think this movie is such a big deal. And one of the reasons is I wrote that the people in the movie are just highly attractive.
Yes.
Like, they are cool looking people.
You wanted to be them.
Yes. Like, I remember the Elton character.
Yes.
That I always thought, like, man, that's just one of the coolest.
Everybody
looking
wanted
guys.
to wear those sweaters afterwards.
Yes, and he looked cool in an oversized sweater. Like his clothes were super big on him, but I thought, like, man, that guy looks cool. So I had that as one of the reasons. They
But
were
also
cool.
in real life, did you know any teenagers who dressed like that
Not
in
at all.
real life? Not at all.
No. Well, I mean,
maybe it was our goals. I mean, yeah, they were shopping on, the expensive streets.
Yeah. And one of the things too about them, in I think it's Ty that even says it. Yeah, it's Ty that says it. Is like when they're talking to each other, she's like, y'all talk like adults.
Yes.
And even their conversations to me felt like this Quentin Tarantino written conversation for high schoolers, where they were talking smarter than I was.
Well, and as we've discussed on our own personal level, that I'm sure you're going to bring up later, of this is a rendition of Emma. And, some of the quips and stuff I think come from that.
Yeah.
Of like a dumbed down version of Emma where we can actually understand it, but it's still so quippy with its speaking and stuff that like it humors you and you're like, I got to go back and listen to that again.
Well, and one of the funny things was, like as a kid, I did think that they were talking so high over my head. And then as I became an adult, I'm like, no, they're actually just talking like kids. They just think that they're talking much more education.
Just certain words.
Yeah.
I hope not sporadically.
Yes. So another thing that made this a really big deal to me was it was a female-led high school comedy. And when you start thinking of what are my favorite high school female-led comedies, there's not a lot of competition.
It was later than that, at least, like with like Mean Girls.
Mean Girls, She's All That. I mean, there was a lot of movies that kind of followed it as far as
but didn't
the girl
start
being
it.
the main character. And this didn't not necessarily start it, but it was a really good one.
Well, you also have Pretty in Pink and 16 Candles.
Yes.
That are female-led.
That's true. But I thought that was one of the big deals of it was there just weren't as many, because a lot of your comedies were male-led, and especially a lot of your like high school comedies were male-led. So I thought that helped it because it brought in this whole other group of people, which girls that wanted to watch the movie that maybe weren't as interested in some of the guy high school comedies. So I thought that was an interesting part of what makes this movie such a big deal and what keeps it such a big deal. Another one was definitely the soundtrack. Like, this movie has an incredible soundtrack, and I'm not talking about the score. I'm talking about the actual like
music that was involved. But I got to be honest, like anytime I think about the music for this, and it may be because we've just watched it a couple of times in the last couple of weeks, it's the Mentos commercial. Yes. Like, that's the music I think of when we talk about music and Clueless.
Well, and it's one of Ty's great scenes, is when she's sitting on the couch, singing it. But yeah, I mean, as far as like, there's 3 bands that play in this movie that I still will listen to. I mean, I don't listen to No Doubt as much, but like I love the Cranberries. I love the Counting Crows are one of my favorite all-time bands. And like you hear their songs in here. Now, when they went to the concert
or the college like Jam Fest or whatever, is that a real band?
That was the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, and they were not my band.
Oh, okay.
Like, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with them.
Are they still around?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Again, not one that I follow. And they did, a type of music called ska, and I was never into ska bands and stuff. Like, No Doubt was probably the closest to a ska band that I liked. So one thing I noticed going to the concert for a second, like if you go back and watch it, like those little funny moments or weird scenes or kind of out of place stuff, go back and watch the guy jump off stage when he's crowd surfing. It lasts like there's like 10 people that hold him up, if that. Where when I think of crowd surfing, I think of like crowd surfing in Wayne's World when they carry you all the way from front to back. That's what I always thought of crowd surfing. This guy like lands on like 7 people.
He was trusting.
Yeah.
He was probably inebriated.
Yes. I thought all of Cher's stuff also makes this movie last. Like when you think about her Jeep was really cool.
She had a cell phone.
What
about this smart closet that she had? We still haven't gotten that today.
I actually have on here, did she invent ChatGPT? Because she had like the whole computer system.
Well, it didn't decide for her. She decided, but it told her good job.
That's what but she like it would put it together and all that stuff, or she put it together and it would.
And she doesn't rely on mirrors. She relies on Polaroids.
Exactly. But also her closet. Like her
Yes, her
closet was
rotating
really
closet.
cool, where it was going back. And I think the best scene of that is actually when she's trying to give stuff away, and it's just like going through, and she's like grabbing things and putting them out. I also think this is one of those things that I'm weird about, but I also think the runtime, like the amount of minutes
Oh,
long,
you love run
I
times.
do. This movie's 97 minutes long. And
Kept
it
your
is
attention.
perfect. It's a perfect screen time because this is not a movie that you want to be 2 hours long. Otherwise, you're going to start losing attention. Even sometimes at the end, when she's like the scene when she's figuring out that she loves Josh, spoiler alert, the scene that she's figuring that out can sometimes feel like it's kind of dragging on a little bit and everything kind of afterwards. But up until then, the movie moves really fast and is just every scene matters. And I think another thing that helps it, that has made it last so long, is obviously the slang, like
Yes.
the word. So I wrote down some of these. We'll have a competition at the end.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So, but like some of these, like as if, whatever, bugging, fat, full on Monet, Audi, Jeepin, Betty, Barney,
I totally
Baldwin,
paused.
Postal. I didn't even get that one. Or I didn't even notice that one or write that one down. But I think one of the coolest things, I actually, when the last time I was watching it, I'd marked every time she wore a different outfit. And
You never see the same one.
no. Can you take a guess in 97 minutes, which is probably 5 or 6 minutes worth of credits? Can you take a guess at how many outfits she wore in the movie?
24.
40.
Oh,
So,
way off.
So she wore one. No, that was close. She wore one every 2.5 minutes. She was wearing a different outfit, and that's just how many. I may have missed one. Like if I looked away, I may have missed an outfit. That's how many times she was wearing something different, though.
But you and I have discussed like what is an outfit that like you think of when you think of Clueless, and obviously mine is her yellow outfit, and that's
Right.
what our daughter wore for
Right.
Halloween. Like that's the one that you buy, but that's not your first outfit that you think of when you think Clueless.
No, I always thought of the cover, the poster, which was the red dress that she wore. So actually, when we talked about Evie being Cher for Halloween, I was like that.
An 8-year-old wearing this dress.
Short, yeah.
Cher would have worn it at 8.
Cher might have, but not our daughter. But moving on from like that section, kind of going into like I couldn't help but title this with thoughts, questions, and weird things I noticed about this movie. So obviously, like one thing that was interesting about it, they had the Ren and Stimpy cartoon playing.
They're way existential.
But you were not a Ren and Stimpy.
No, it's gross.
I loved it for a moment. Like there was a little while, and then like there was a year or two ago when I wanted to show the kids Ren and Stimpy, and we turned it on. I was like, this is like the grossest thing about it. This is
It is.
But some questions. Was Murray a jerk to Dion?
Yes, but he tried to play it off like he wasn't, like when he calls her woman and she says, Murray, I've asked you repeatedly not to call me woman. And he goes in this long speech of what it really means. Well, even if that's what it really means, it doesn't make it okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And she also found the extension.
Yeah, the
or
braid.
something like that. Yeah, the braid. I was not like watching it from an adult lens. If Murray was dating my daughter, I'd be like, please find someone else. I just don't think this is the right guy for you. One of the things I noticed, did you notice Josh when he was making his turkey sandwich? Did you notice this at all?
That it was in a clear bin and they pick it piece by piece?
Yeah, it was a big bin. But the thing I noticed that bothers me every single time is when he's putting it together. When I'm put a sandwich together, I lay my bread out, put the meat there. Number one, he didn't put any cheese or anything else with it, but he put the meat there, and then he puts the mayonnaise on the turkey.
Meat instead of the bread.
Yes, and that bothered me. I'm like, man, put it on the bread. You're not getting any spread whatsoever. So that bothered me. And I don't know if you noticed, it looked like, now this is going on to an earlier scene when they were handing out the report cards, and when Travis was going to jump out of the window.
And he says, please, no suicide attempts today.
Looked like they were on the first floor.
Travis, he has a reputation. He may have jumped from the first floor, and maybe that's why Mr. Hall wasn't that concerned.
Yeah. Yeah, but I just noticed that like it may not be, maybe it was like a taller bush, but it looked like just these little short bushes that were right outside the window, and I was like, man, I mean, you're really not gonna get anything done by jumping out this first floor window.
Here's something I noticed.
Okay.
Clueless is probably the reason that we have dress codes now with how short skirts were and stuff in this movie.
Yeah.
They were like crazy short.
Yeah. 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 They definitely bent the rules every way that they could as far as dress codes.
I don't think that school had a dress code.
No, it was a California school. I remember Ty was also amazed that they had like sodas and stuff.
Yes.
Like, and so I'm sure this school kind of operated under its own rules. You know a little bit about that. But we're talking about Travis for a second. Did you notice his last name?
Oh, Birkenstock?
Yes. So I didn't know this. Birkenstock actually started in like 1774. And I was really hoping that they started in the 90s.
That he was like that he started it or his family started it?
Yes, I was hoping.
Maybe he's from the Birkenstock line of shoes.
Well, if you notice, they had a nice house when they went to the party. He had a nice house.
And he goes to a really fancy school.
So in my head, Travis is part of the Birkenstock line.
And why does he have to apply himself? He is taking care of the rest of his life.
Exactly. So for anybody now, when you watch Travis and you see, or you watch Clueless and you see Travis, now you know that Travis is part of the Birkenstock line, and that guy's probably loaded.
Here's something else that bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
I love Clueless with everything that's in me, but let's talk about the big elephant in the room. Ex stepbrother and stepsister getting together.
We're gonna get to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's coming up.
Okay.
That's coming up. So we talked about Silverstone a little bit earlier. Would you consider her a one-hit wonder? Name
Yes.
another movie that you love by her.
No, there's not another that I love by her. And like, even
she was in
now,
one of
like,
the Scooby-Doos.
I think she's made such a name for herself amongst the PETA group and stuff like that like that's her passion now. And things weren't going great on the silver screen, and so like that's kind of like what she took up instead.
Yeah. And she's still a successful actress. Like, if you count the fact, I mean, especially if you look at those 4 or 5 years right after this, she did some movies. Now, she had the one with Brendan Fraser,
Blast from the Past.
Yes, and that was probably her next biggest movie. Really,
wasn't there that one? Not Quentin Tarantino. What's that other guy that looks like has a name like that?
I'm not sure.
Where she kidnaps herself. She's a rich girl.
Oh, Excess Baggage.
Okay.
That one was a flop. That was actually one of the movies she produced. It was one of the first movies, like right after that $10 million deal that she was given from Sony. So she produced that movie.
Thought she was a cool girl afterwards, though. I was young in that one too. So
yes, and movies that we see at those ages, like they're better than what they should have been, probably. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say like, oh, you had a bad career, but I would say as far as like hits, I would definitely say Silverstone's a one-hit wonder.
Do you think she should have done the show?
No, but I mean, I would have, like, if I had it to do over again and I was her, I would have done the same exact thing. I would have, tried my hand at producing and done the Sony movies and all that stuff. So I would have done the same exact thing that she did. But going to your question, is it weird that she ended up with Josh?
Yes. And how does her mafia top dad feel about this? Yes, he loves Josh, but Josh being with his daughter, 15, 16-year-old daughter, not just daughter, not daughter in college, 15, 16-year-old daughter.
I actually think the dad was happy about it. Because if you remember the scene when she goes on the date with Christian, they were going to the concert.
Oh.
And Josh is saying, yes. And Josh is saying, like, I can go check on her. I'll watch her for you, or whatever he's saying. And the dad is like, oh, you do that.
Murray.
And he's smirking. And the dad's smirking because he knows, like, oh, he's interested in her.
But you're not staying at my house anymore.
No, definitely not. No more sleepovers. But I always thought, like, or not always thought, but watching it this time, I was thinking, so it's weird that she ended up with Josh at the end of the movie. Like, let's just say that it's weird. I don't care that your ex stepbrother, ex stepsister. It's weird that
Your
y'all ended
parents
up
were only
together.
married for 5 years.
Yes, or it'd been 5 years since they'd been married,
Oh,
or
okay.
something like that. But how awkward would it have been? So when he goes to kiss her at the end, if
Oh, if she had
she
like blocked him,
pulled back, that would have been
he
like
would
one
have
of.
never come over again.
No, you just walk out. You just walk out of the
Wonder why
house.
Josh isn't coming over
Yeah,
anymore.
you don't look back. You walk out of the house. You leave. You start the car and you go, and you don't return any calls. And they didn't text them, but you don't return any AOL instant messengers. You don't return anything. You just move on. So let's look at this one. Was a weird one to me. Why would Elton want a picture of Ty that Cher took?
Maybe it's the closest thing to a picture he had of Cher. I don't know. It's weird though.
Like that one bothers me, and it bothered me then. Like even the first time I saw it, like why is he wanting a picture that she took? That doesn't like it was leading us in the story, or leading the story to say like, oh, he likes Ty, and that gave them a reason to say that to Ty. Is oh, he's got your picture. He gave you give him a sweet, which she was lying about that. But the picture thing she was not lying about because he had it hanging in his locker. But I just always thought that was an odd choice. If I like a girl, I don't want a picture that she took of another girl.
I don't know. You keep weird things from your crushes.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know. I just thought that was always an interesting one. And how did Cher not know? Like that's
yeah.
Watching it again and watching it twice. Like the guy was all over her the entire movie.
Yes, every time she got a good grade or anything, he was like rubbing her shoulders.
Yes. And we have a lot of like Elton has some good competition stuff coming up. Don't worry. But do you remember? So she goes on the date with Christian, and then the next day he calls.
No, and boy lang that he said he would call the next day.
Right, and he did.
No, in boy language that means 3 days.
But
then he called. Yes,
but he called. So that made me want to think, or that made me think, what would your phone call protocol have been?
I'm not a boy, so I don't know.
But like, what would you expect? Like if you could go back in your head being 15, 16 years old.
I want him to call that day.
The next day. Okay. Because I wasn't sure. Like I was never cool as far as like calling girls and stuff.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that you called me immediately.
Yeah, I had no game. So I had no idea
I was here for it.
But like I just had no game. So either way, I didn't know what other people thought. Like she's saying 3 days. I never knew if there was this.
She was justifying herself.
I kind of thought the 3-day rule was a thing, but it was probably only because of this movie that I thought the 3-day rule was a thing. So narrowed this down a little bit. At the part when they say they're going to go see a new Christian Slater?
Yes.
So had to be a movie called Murder in the First about Kevin Bacon. I think he murdered like a fellow inmate in prison. So I'm betting the reason why it shows them going and then like so quickly cuts to dinner, they probably left that movie early. Like I don't see those girls enjoying that movie at all. But so I just thought that was interesting. Well, like it had to be like looking at the time, it had to be that one. But Starbucks.
Oh, okay, go.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, I don't know about you, but when I got my learner's permit, like you had to be in the car with an adult to drive, and like she hasn't even taken her driver's test yet, and she's driving around with her friends, and nobody has a problem with this, including Daddy Warbucks. Like
it was interesting. I mean, again, they were treated like adults.
Dion too. Dion's boyfriend is teaching her how to drive on the interstate.
Right. So Starbucks, we talked about this a little bit. Starbucks was seen in this movie a few times, and this was like a major growth spurt for Starbucks. Like
is one of the characters' last name Starbucks?
No,
like
no, not Birkenstock.
Okay.
But so like right around this time, it went from like 700 U.S. locations in 95 to like 1,497.
So you think Clueless is what set them off?
Clueless couldn't have hurt because they started in 71 and they literally doubled 2 years after.
So they should design some Clueless cup holders.
And now there's like 16,000 of them. But yes,
I was Clueless.
I think they should. I do think it would be awesome if they had like some kind of clue. They could have all the
Cher to do it,
or make like a yellow plaid dress cup, because they have all the cool cups that you can get.
I'd buy it.
Yes. But I just thought that was neat. And also, this was the same year. So Frappuccinos was like the first coffee that I ever liked, which is not a real coffee. But that was the first coffee that I ever drank.
Oh, and Cher had a lot that day.
Well, so this was the first year that Starbucks earned the right, or not earned the right. They bought a company that called them Frappuccinos. So this is the first year that they actually had the copyright to call.
Well, Cher would know because she knows all the cool things.
Exactly. So I just thought that was interesting that this was the first year that they could legally call it a Frappuccino, that Starbucks did. Now, staying with 95 and things that they mentioned in this movie, they make fun of Mark Wahlberg.
Marky Mark. He's too busy to be planting a tree.
Yes. So this was
his
like
pants dropping schedule.
Yes. And this was like during his Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch days, before he was Mark Wahlberg that we know now.
Yeah, I actually saw the other day something about New Kids on the Block on tour, and I wonder if he ever just goes to be supportive. I mean, at least one of them is his brother, right?
Yeah. Joey, I think, or Donnie, or I don't know.
Donnie.
Yeah. But I just thought that was interesting. Like, so his music star is fading at this point because he really only had the one big, Good Vibration song, which is a good song, but his acting star was starting to rise. And so I just thought that was interesting. Like, but they kind of caught him in this lull
in between. He's not Oscar worthy yet.
Right. But he had actually done the year before, he'd done this movie called Renaissance Man, that Stacey Dash was in.
How cool.
So, yeah. I thought that was interesting. So, the I can't remember what it's called. It's not the speech, but when she's giving her, presentation, at the very beginning.
Oh, about the Statue of Liberty.
Yes. When she calls it the Haitians?
Yeah.
Legitimate mistake by Alicia Silverstone.
Oh, is she talking about the Haitians?
Yes. It's supposed to be Haitians.
They kept it?
Yes.
Did they ever correct her?
No one told her. They wanted that to stay in because they thought this is 100% authentic. She's really, because if you look at the spelling of it, you could see where somebody would easily get Haitians.
Sounds like me.
Yes. Yeah, Pfizer.
Yes.
But if you look at the spelling of it, I could easily get Haitians out of this.
Yes.
But they thought it was funny. They left it in. I'm sure she found out soon after.
Yes.
Especially when people laughed at that, and she's probably, why are they laughing at this moment?
I'm really good at my job.
Yeah. So next we're getting to the competitions that were within the movie. And we're also going to call them, just because he gave such a heartwarming speech of thanks to all the people that made the McMuffins and everything. We're going to call these the Tardy Travis Awards for this episode. So his acceptance speech was just awesome. So I wanted to rename it just for this episode. So we've talked about this a little bit already. I think we may differ on this. Cher's best outfit. Would you say it's the? I'm going to
go to my grave with the yellow outfit.
Okay, I narrowed it down to two, just because they're the two iconic ones. Either the red dress or the yellow plaid.
The yellow plaid wins all the day long.
I would also go with the yellow.
It's the more unique, memorable one.
Yeah. All right. So the next competition would be best use of headgear, and so I've got a few here. Christian's fedora. When he walks in,
I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I can't stand Christian.
Well, he acts a little snobby.
I just, everything about him, I can't stand him.
Yeah. So he acts a little snobby, but the fedora did look cool. Murray's Kango.
Yes.
Those look good on him. Dion's hat that looks like a flower pot.
Any of Dion's hats. Dion has quite a few that she puts on during this movie.
She does, but I tried to pick like each character's best one, and Dion's was definitely the first one, which was the flower pot hat looking thing, which I think is what that was the outfit that your mom wore.
Yes.
And then there was one scene, and I can't remember when it was. Ty wears like a headband.
It's when she goes to the college party.
Yeah.
She has a scarf tied in her hair and she tries it different ways.
Yes.
Actually, it's actually her flannel shirt and she ties it up in her hair.
Is that what she does? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Because I was wondering where
her
it came
flowery button down. Yeah.
So those are my 4 entries.
You're forgetting Amber's sailor girl hat.
If I was going with Amber at all, or ambular.
Or in her weird
I was about to
braids.
say, I would go with the weird pigtails. Like, that's not, that would fall into headgear, because she's using.
And what
I mean,
about
that's
Josh's
something.
ball cap when she tells him he looks like Forrest Gump?
That's true. See,
What is I don't know what the logo was. I don't know if it was his college that he goes to, or if it's a baseball team that he was wearing, but he's wearing a ball cap.
I don't think it was a baseball team. I would have probably clued in on that. I'm betting it was supposed to be the college that he's going to. But out of those entries,
I'm going to go with Dion's hat.
100%. I agree. Elton's best excuse for getting out of class.
I lost my Cranberry CD.
Yes, I got to go find my Cranberry CD.
My foot hurts. I got to go to the nurse.
That was the second one.
Um,
There's one more. And
What
it's
is
very simple. Can
What-
I use the pass?
he just says, "Can he?"
He doesn't even.
And she lets him.
Yes, he doesn't even work up the energy to come up with an excuse for the third.
He's
one.
got things to do.
He does. But wait, I mean, gosh, that's to me, this is the hardest competition. Like the Cranberry CD, my foot hurts, or can I use the pass?
I mean, I've subbed a few times in an elementary school, and you'd be amazed at what some of them come up with. But the foot one is like, that's pretty easy. You don't believe. Obviously, nobody believes him. He looks totally fine.
Right.
You know, that one. But the fact that you're just like, hey, my Cranberry CD, like that's an important thing. Also, how much would CDs be back then? So it may have been an expensive thing.
That would have been like at least $14.99, depending on where you bought them at. Yeah. And that would have been new. Like used prices were less, and I had plenty of places where I would go to get used CDs, but the new CDs would have been like $12.99, $14.99, somewhere in there. But I can't decide on that one. Like I love all three of those excuses. I think saying, "Can I go get my Cranberry CD?" Or "Can I go get my Cranberries CD?" If I'm the teacher, I'm like, why does that matter? Like you don't need your CD right now. My foot hurts, the way he says it.
Very convincing.
Yeah. I mean, there's zero conviction in the way that he says it. And then the third one, "Can I use the pass?" I love that one too.
And she just says, yeah.
Yeah. So I love all three of these. But
Miss Geist, that's who it was.
yes. She was actually the producer, or one of the producers of the movie.
Well, cool.
Yeah. And I think she was also on the show. But gosh, I'd probably have to go with "Can I use the pass?" I love
because he doesn't put it for.
Yeah, it's just authenticity. You know, be your true self. He's just saying, "Can I use the pass?" He's not lying at all. Like, you got to respect that a little bit. All right. So Wallace Shawn, the teacher. I think it was Mr. Hall.
Mr. Hall.
Yeah. Best moment for him, as far as not in the movie, but he's got three very iconic roles:
Princess Bride,
Clueless, and he's
a voice for something, isn't he?
He's the voice of Rex in the Toy Story movies.
Okay.
So if you had to pick any Wallace Shawn, which Wallace Shawn would you pick?
I'm gonna go with Rex.
I have to go with Rex. I mean, he's played the part 4 times, done the specials,
and everybody loves Rex.
Yes. So yeah, I think we're easily in agreement on that. Now, if you could choose any of these teachers' class that you would like to take, would you rather be in Mr. Hall's class? Would you rather be in Miss Geist's class or Mrs. Stoger?
Is that the gym teacher?
That's the gym teacher. And I didn't recognize her. She was in a movie that came out like in 88 or 89, something like that. I don't have the actress's real name on me, but she was in a movie that was called Earth Girls Are Easy. And the only reason I saw it was a
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey was in it. It was a Gina Davis movie. She was the main actress. She was like her best friend. And she like sings in it. And she's like a very girly girl. So
it's really funny to see her playing this.
I didn't know until this week that it was the same actress, because she does like this. It's not like a Robin Sparkle, "Let's Go to the Mall," but it's a song along those lines where she's singing a song that's like very girly and like getting their hair done and stuff like that. Like it's meant to be a very girly song. So to see her play those two opposite parts, like a man-hating gym, teacher, as opposed to like, the very feminine version of her, it was just really interesting to remember that. But the three aliens in Earth Girls Are Easy is great. Jeff Goldblum, Damon Wayans, and Jim Carrey. And that's actually where Damon Wayans met Jim Carrey and that's how he got the part on In Living Color, was through that movie. So Earth Girls Are Easy. Really
There's your
helped out.
plug.
Yeah, no, it's a dumb movie, but it really helped out Jim Carrey's career. But if you could take any of those classes, any of those 3 teachers' classes, which one would you want to take?
So my instinct, because I'm lazy, is to take Miss Stoker's class because it doesn't look like that it's that hard, one at a time doing tennis. But the adult that I am now, I'm gonna say Miss Geist because I want to do the things that she's doing. I want to help.
Yeah, see, I'm taking PE all day long.
I was also the kid in PE that faked my period all the time so that I didn't have to run. I would go, quote unquote, look for my shoes and never come back.
Sure. I love Jim. And I actually got Mr. PE one year. Like yeah. They probably gave that to the kid. They're just like, oh, look at him, feel good story. But so here's another good so you're going with Miss Geist.
Yes.
I'm going with the gym teacher. I'm going with Mrs. Stoker's class just because I'd rather, shoot basketball or something. Most annoying character. I have 3 competitors in this. You can throw in anybody you want to.
It better be the one I'm thinking.
So the first one that I have are the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, because I don't like that band, and they're the ones that did the concert.
Yes.
So Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. Elton is one of the most annoying characters to me. Gets on my nerves every time, and maybe that's watching it from dad eyes.
I think so,
because I'm like, Cher's trying to tell him no in that one scene, and
he needs to be punched.
Yes. So that's why I'm just like, man, if I. But so Elton, and then Josh's snooty girlfriend.
Thine own self be true.
Her. Yes. So those are the 3 competitors.
No. Christian.
Oh, you have Christian.
Christian, throw him in there.
Okay, so you're throwing Christian in there. Anybody else?
No, just Christian.
Okay. The winner for me would have to be the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. Like those.
You just really can't stand them.
Maybe I should.
I'm going to look them up and take you to a concert.
Maybe I'm good. Maybe I should re-listen.
Maybe you should listen to ska.
Now, as a dad, Elton is the one where I would be like, stay away from that boy.
Yes.
But yeah, so I'll go with the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, but in real life, it's Elton. But
it's Christian all the day long.
Christian for you. Okay. Now, I thought this would be fun because like we talked about earlier, Clueless and Emma are basically the same story. And Emma was written by Jane Austen like in the 18 teens or 20s or something like that. So this movie, or the story was written like 180 years before, or 170 years before this movie came out. The story was already there, which is really neat that stories can last that long and stay relevant. And obviously they modernized it.
Yes.
I tried to watch we talk about it, and I can't ever remember her name, like the Anna Taylor
Joy
something. She has like
the newest version.
Yes. Yeah, the one that came out like 6 years ago. She has like 20 first names as her whole name. But I tried
Anna Joy something.
It's really good. I couldn't get into it last week when I was trying to watch it. And so
you have a hard time with British accents though. But
it's got my guy in it. It's got Bill Nighy in it. I love that guy. But I tried to watch it, just really didn't have the time. So I was wanting to, it would have made this category a little, hit a little harder. But if you had to keep, or if you could keep only one combo of this. So you have Clueless and Emma, which are basically the same story.
Yes.
Armageddon and Deep Impact.
Didn't even know those were the same.
Well, they're not the same, but I mean, they're both like,
general
world
premise.
ending. Yeah, general. Yeah, that's all we're going for is general premise. So again, Clueless and Emma, Armageddon and Deep Impact, Bugs Life and Ants, or Tombstone and Wyatt Earp.
Ooh.
And you can only keep one set.
It's between the Emma and Clueless and the Wyatt Earp and Tombstone.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it would be the Tombstone Wyatt Earp combo. Like, I'm not letting that combo go, even though I love Armageddon and we will do Armageddon on this. For me, it would be the Tombstone Wyatt Earp that I would have to keep. I'm
going to go with the Clueless and Emma.
I respect that.
But the Gwyneth Paltrow version of Emma.
Remember I tried to watch that?
And it gave you the TV version?
Yes, it gave me the Kate Beckinsale version that I didn't even know existed.
Straight to TV?
Yes. And so, like, I'm watching it, like, this looks very low budget. And Yeah, because I wanted to watch that one just because I'd never seen that one before.
Streaming fail.
Yes, it was. Pluto let me down on that one. All right, so last category, and I feel like this is the one to close off this movie. So instead of best quote, we're
I've
gonna
got too many.
well, instead of best quote, we're gonna do most usable phrase. Okay, so like, which one can I actually use in real life on a daily basis?
I want to use, I hope not sporadically on an everyday conversation.
Yes, that's on the list. So sporadically was on the list. Obviously some of the classics, as if, whatever, totally bugging, which I feel lame just saying these.
I don't think so.
So I didn't even see it, and I didn't even have that on there. Full on Monet. Do you remember that? I love that one. I didn't even really notice that one until going through it.
Beautiful from afar, up close. It's just so ha.
Fat, like the PHAT
Yes.
version of fat. Audi, like
I'm outie.
yes.
And like I told you earlier, I totally paused.
Yes. And like when she's talking about her mom being, which
she was a total Betty.
And we haven't talked about her mom dying in liposuction.
Yes. And a routine.
Yes.
Liposuction.
But if you had to pick, I'll just give you three. Like, if you had to pick your top three.
Can I throw in another one?
Yeah, of course.
That is not something I would use all the time. But it's going to be like, it's probably my favorite line from Clueless. You're a virgin who can't drive.
Yeah, and that's that really cut her to the core.
Cut her to the core.
Yes.
Wait, Ty, that was way harsh.
Yeah, that one really cut her. And that was like the Sandlot. You play ball like a girl.
Yes.
Like that was the
cut
ultimate,
deep.
Yeah, that was the ultimate put down that she could have said to her. But so we've got that one. If you were keeping two more, or is that just you just wanted to say the line?
Oh, that's going to be one of my favorite quotes.
Surely that's not something you'd want to use in everyday life. Like we're talking about.
I'm probably thinking about people.
Yes. So let's stick with
as if.
Okay, so as if is one you'd want.
Yes. I have to pick one more.
I said you can take the top three. Yeah.
Did you write them down? Oh, you did.
No.
Am I lame if I say that I still say I'm outie?
No.
I do.
That's what I'm saying. And that's like going back to one of the earlier conversations about this movie. One of the things about this movie is it's stuck around. And one of the reasons it's stuck around is stuff like that.
And even though you probably still use whatever in everyday conversation or when you're exasperated, but you're never truly clueless until you do the W with your fingers.
Well, and it's the way they say it. Like, I mean.
Whatever.
Yes. Like they put a strong emphasis on certain parts of the word where like if I say whatever, I'm like, whatever. And they say whatever a totally different way than the way I say whatever. But so you would go as if you would go outie. What would be your other one?
Way harsh.
Okay. Yeah. And those are all good ones. But you can see like looking at some of this stuff, the reasons why this movie stayed such a big deal, why it's still relevant. Why, people still love the movie 30 years later.
I'm going to throw a plug out there.
No.
I didn't buy it for myself, so if you want to buy it for me, you can.
Sure.
But in the value section of Target, you can't call it the dollar section anymore because some of the things are $5. But because it is the anniversary of Clueless, they have Clueless coffee mugs.
Oh, that's cool.
I think they're like $3, $5.
We were talking about
there's like two versions of it. They are selling those at Target.
Gotcha.
Get them while you can.
Yeah. Oh, so that's your hint. That's my. So when guests come on, they get a gift. That's your gift that you want. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for walking through Clueless with me.
Thank you
for walking through the valley, even though it was tough. Anything else that we missed? Anything you want to cover?
No, I think you hit it all.
All right. Thanks, guys. We're outie.
Oh.